The betrayal beneath the golden sky. In a grand Victorian-style house tucked into one of San Francisco's elite neighborhoods, Melissa Brady worked alone in her spacious home office. The late afternoon sunlight streamed through tall bay windows, gilding her chestnut hair in soft gold as it brushed across the edges of a large design board covered in sketches, fabric samples, and floor plans. After 10 years of relentless effort, Melissa had become one of the city's most sought-after interior designers. Her clientele included real estate tycoons, celebrity chefs, and tech executives, the kind of people who measured success in private jets and ocean-view properties. Still, the satisfaction of professional success hadn't filled the quiet void that had slowly crept into her personal life. She looked up at the wall clock. 9 p.m. Jason still wasn't home. That, lately, had become their routine. Melissa picked up her phone and typed a brief message. "Melissa, working late again? Should I save dinner for you?" She hit send and let out a tired sigh. She didn't expect a reply. Jason's excuses were always the same: big client, urgent portfolio review, late-night call with investors. As an investment advisor, he was always too busy, though Melissa had long stopped believing that was the full truth. Their 10th anniversary was approaching next month. She had secretly planned a romantic getaway, a private villa in Hawaii, Jason's favorite destination. She had already arranged everything: snorkeling, dinner under the stars, a surprise vow renewal. Just imagining his surprised, happy expression made her smile, however faintly. The phone rang, shattering the silence. It was her younger sister, Ashley. "Hey, sis, can you talk?" Ashley's voice carried its usual melodic, social media brightness. She was an influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers who adored her polished, glamorous life. "What's up?" Melissa asked, adjusting her headset. "Mom and Dad are coming to town this weekend. Wanna do dinner? I found this cute new place downtown, so aesthetic, perfect lighting for photos." Melissa hesitated. She had planned to finalize the anniversary trip with Jason this weekend, but it had been months since she last saw her parents. "Sure," she said softly. "How about Sunday evening?" "Perfect," Ashley squealed. "And wait until you see my ring. Brad finally got me a real diamond. 4 carats, baby." Ashley had been engaged for a year to Brad Johnson, a wealthy real estate developer whose smile and money made him an ideal partner for her influencer image. "Congratulations," Melissa said warmly, even though her sister's excitement felt more like a performance than genuine joy. After hanging up, Melissa's eyes wandered toward the window. Across the street, she could see her neighbors cooking dinner together, their children's laughter spilling into the evening air. The sight filled her chest with a quiet ache. Her marriage had once been full of laughter too: long walks, shared dreams, the warmth of Jason's arms. Now there was only distance, silence, and that awful word she never said aloud: estrangement. Moments later, the phone rang again. This time, it was her father, Robert. "Hey, sweetheart," he said warmly. "How are things at work?" "I'm fine, Dad. Ashley told me about the dinner this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone." "Well," Robert began, his voice hesitant, "there's been a little change. We thought we'd make it Saturday at noon instead." Melissa frowned. "Saturday? I have a big client presentation then. I was going to spend the whole morning preparing." "That's too bad," Robert interrupted gently. "Your mother and I are busy Sunday, and Ashley's schedule is tight. Maybe next time, sweetheart." It was always the same. Ashley's convenience dictated the family calendar. Melissa exhaled slowly. "No, wait, I'll make it work. Saturday noon is fine." "Excellent," Robert said, relief clear in his tone. "Carol will be happy. Ashley already picked the restaurant." After hanging up, Melissa stared blankly at her sketches. It was as if every brushstroke, every design detail had faded from meaning. Once again, her life had been rearranged to fit around everyone else's needs. That evening, she heard the front door open. Her heart leapt for a moment. Maybe Jason had come home early, but the sound of a refrigerator opening, followed by the crack of a beer can, told her otherwise. Melissa walked to the kitchen. "Welcome home," she said softly. Jason, dressed sharply as always, loosened his tie and offered a tired smile that didn't reach his eyes. Hey, long day. Still the foster group project? Yeah, he replied absently, staring at his phone. Big account. It's been taking most of my time lately. Melissa hesitated, then said, about our anniversary trip. But before she could finish, Jason's phone buzzed. Sorry, he said quickly, I have to take this. He stepped out, leaving her mid-sentence. She stood there, staring at the untouched dinner she had prepared. The soup had gone cold. The next morning, Melissa drove to a construction site, reviewing design samples and speaking with contractors. She moved through the day with precision, but her mind was elsewhere. Late that afternoon, while stopped at a red light, she opened her phone to confirm the resort booking. The moment she looked up, headlights flashed from the left. A blinding impact, screeching metal, shattered glass. Then, silence. When Melissa woke, she was lying in a hospital bed. Her body ached. Her arm was in a cast. The steady beep of machines filled the air. Thank God, came a voice. It was her best friend, Rachel Clark. You're awake. What happened? Melissa asked weakly. A drunk driver hit your car, Rachel said gently. You're lucky to be alive. Bruised ribs, mild concussion, broken arm, but you'll recover. Melissa's throat tightened. Jason? Rachel's expression darkened. He was here earlier, but got an urgent work call. Said he'd come back later. Melissa gave a faint laugh. Of course. That evening, Jason finally appeared, looking rushed, holding a bouquet. I came as soon as I could, he said, checking his watch. You're okay? I'll be fine, Melissa said with forced calm. Good. I'm flying out tomorrow, business trip to Chicago. Foster group again. Can't cancel it. She nodded silently, watching as he kissed her forehead, promised to call soon, and disappeared. Days passed. Her parents visited briefly, 15 minutes at most. We're so glad you're doing better, her mother Carol said. We'd stay longer, but we have plans. Plans. That word echoed in Melissa's head long after they'd gone. Rachel became her daily visitor, bringing flowers, food, and warmth. One sunny afternoon, Rachel was flipping through a magazine when her phone buzzed. She glanced down, then froze. What's wrong? Melissa asked. Rachel hesitated, her voice trembling. Melissa, maybe you shouldn't see this right now. Show me. Rachel slowly handed her the phone. It was an Instagram post from Ashley, a carousel of bright photos taken at a luxury beach resort. In one, Jason stood beside Ashley, both wearing sunglasses and smiling beneath a palm tree. In another, their parents raised champagne glasses by the ocean. The date, the day after Melissa's accident. The caption read, Family getaway with my favorites #blessed life #family first. Melissa stared in disbelief, her vision blurred. Rachel whispered, I didn't want to hurt you, but you need to know. Melissa opened her banking app with trembling fingers. A recent charge flashed on screen. Private Island Resort, $10,500. Paid from her account. She froze. They used my money, she whispered. My husband, my sister, my parents, while I was lying in a hospital bed. Her voice hardened. Rachel, get me my phone. She dialed Jason's number and put the call on speaker. He answered quickly. Hey, babe, how are you feeling? I'm fine, Melissa said evenly. How's Chicago? Busy, back-to-back meetings, can't wait to come home. Through the phone, the unmistakable sound of ocean waves filled the background. Really? Melissa asked softly. Give my love to everyone, especially Ashley. There was silence on the line. Melissa. By the way, she continued, her tone like ice. Remember to return my credit card. I'm sure the resort has great service, for $10,000. It should. Jason's breath caught. Wait, there's an explanation. I don't need one. Melissa cut him off. Goodbye, Jason. She ended the call and stared out the window, her face calm, almost eerily so. Rachel, she said quietly, call attorney Tom Harris, and your cousin Mike, the private investigator. Rachel's eyes widened. Melissa, what are you going to do? Melissa smiled, not with warmth, but with purpose. I'm going to get justice. Carefully, completely. They won't even see it coming. Rachel swallowed. Then I'll help you. Melissa nodded slowly. Good. Because from this moment on. She turned toward the fading light outside. The old Melissa Brady is gone. The room fell silent again, filled only by the soft hum of machines and the birth of something fierce, calculated, and unstoppable. A woman wronged and ready to reclaim her life. Melissa Brady's turning point. Out of the luxury hotel's bright glass doors, Jason and Ashley emerged, each pretending to be detached. Yet, the way their eyes met, lingering for a heartbeat too long, betrayed a closeness that no act of distance could hide. From across the street, Melissa stood in the shadow of a street lamp, her face half hidden by the brim of her hat. The night wind was cool, carrying the scent of rain-soaked asphalt and jasmine from a nearby garden. Her heart beat slowly, not from surprise anymore, but from the cold confirmation of what she already knew. I wonder how long it's been going on, she said quietly, her voice steady. Rachel, standing beside her, tightened her coat. We should have Mike investigate that too. Melissa nodded slowly. Yes, I need every detail, every proof. No one gets to lie to me again. As they walked away, Melissa didn't look back. She had seen enough. When Melissa entered her house that evening, it felt foreign, as if someone else had been living there while she was gone. Every inch of it carried the ghost of her old life, the framed honeymoon photo in Maui, the couch where she and Jason had once watched movies late into the night, and the crystal vase filled with fading lilies, her favorite flowers, which Jason had bought a lifetime ago. Now, the scent felt suffocating. Rachel lingered near the door. Call me if you need anything, day or night. Melissa gave her a faint, grateful smile. Thank you, but I'll be fine. I have work to do. After Rachel left, Melissa walked through the quiet house and into her study. The faint ticking of the clock filled the air. She opened her laptop and began sorting through unread emails, from clients, contractors, collaborators. The familiar structure of work steadied her heart. Melissa Brady is back, she murmured to herself, as if claiming ownership of her life again. Hours passed. Outside, the city lights flickered through the tall windows, and the hum of traffic felt distant. Immersed in her designs, Melissa lost track of time until her phone rang. An unfamiliar number flashed on the screen. Hello, this is Melissa Brady. Mrs. Brady, this is Tom Harris. Rachel Clark referred you to me. You wanted to discuss a divorce case? Melissa's spine straightened. Her tone shifted instantly, businesslike and composed. Yes, Mr. Harris, thank you for calling. When can we meet? How about tomorrow afternoon at my office in Pacific Heights? That works. Please email me the details. When the call ended, she exhaled slowly. This was no longer pain, it was the first step toward justice. The next morning, Melissa woke before sunrise. Her phone was filled with unread messages, all from Jason. We need to talk. Please let me explain. It's not what you think. She deleted them without hesitation. Instead, she opened her laptop and began researching, scrolling through Jason's client portfolio. One name caught her attention, William Foster, owner of a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire. Foster was one of Jason's biggest accounts and, coincidentally, one of Melissa's design clients. She had been working on his downtown penthouse renovation before the accident. This must be fate, Melissa whispered, a small, knowing smile forming on her lips. That afternoon, Melissa entered Tom Harris' office, a minimalist space with leather chairs and tall windows overlooking the bay. Harris, a composed man in his mid-50s with sharp eyes, greeted her with professional warmth. Mrs. Brady, I heard about your accident. I'm glad to see you recovering. Thank you. I'm feeling better each day. So, he said, folding his hands, tell me everything. Melissa did, calmly, methodically. She told him about the crash, her hospitalization, the lies, the discovery of Jason and Ashley's affair, and her parents' silent complicity. Do you have evidence? Harris asked. I have a private investigator working on it, bank statements, hotel receipts, photos, and proof of their trip, all on my money. Harris nodded. California law is no fault, but if you can prove misuse of funds for an affair, it will weigh heavily in your favor. I'm not after money, Melissa said softly. I'm after justice. Harris studied her expression, calm, resolute, unyielding. Justice or revenge? Melissa met his gaze. In this case, they mean the same thing. 2 days later, Melissa arranged a meeting with William Foster. They met at an elegant restaurant overlooking the bay, all soft lighting and hushed conversation. Melissa, you look wonderful, Foster said warmly. I was worried after hearing about the accident. I'm recovering, thank you, Melissa replied, graceful and composed. Foster sipped his wine. Your husband's been busy as well, said he's been traveling for work. Melissa tilted her head slightly, her tone casual. Yes, especially with my sister. They seem to be working quite closely together these days. Foster raised a brow, clearly taken aback. Your sister? Yes, they were even together while I was hospitalized. I'm sure it won't affect his professional performance, though. I suppose I can't be certain. Foster's face hardened. I see. That's unfortunate. I don't tolerate personal impropriety in my partnerships. Melissa smiled faintly. I'm sure you don't. By the end of their meal, she had planted a seed of doubt so deep that she knew it would grow. A few days later, Mike Clark called. I've got something big, he said, excitement in his voice. Your sister is still engaged to Brad Johnson. Their wedding's in 2 weeks. But she's hiding the affair from him. I've got hotel records, messages, photos, everything. Send them to me, Melissa said calmly. It was raining outside, the steady sound against the glass matching her quiet determination. She stood by the window, watching raindrops gather and slide down, each one reflecting light like shards of glass. 1 week later, her plan bore fruit. News broke that William Foster had canceled his $25 million contract with Jason's firm. The loss was catastrophic. That same afternoon, Ashley's fiancé, Brad, abruptly called off the wedding after receiving an anonymous package, the evidence Melissa had mailed. Ashley's social media went silent. Sponsors withdrew. Her glittering world began to crumble. That evening, Melissa sat on her sofa with a glass of wine, reading quietly, when the front door slammed open. Jason stormed in, face red with fury. What the hell did you do? Melissa looked up calmly. It's unusual to see you home this early. Don't play games with me, he shouted. Foster canceled the contract. He said he was disappointed in my private behavior. You told him something, didn't you? Melissa set her glass down with deliberate calm. Oh, you mean your business trip to Chicago? Or the one where you shared a suite with my sister? Jason froze. You knew? I know everything, Melissa said, standing tall. You used my money for your affair. While I was in a hospital bed, you were sunbathing with my sister. Melissa, please. No. Her voice was sharp as glass. 10 years of marriage, and you repaid it with betrayal. Before Jason could speak again, her phone rang. Ashley. Melissa put it on speaker. Hello? How could you? Ashley's voice screamed through the speaker. Brad canceled everything. He said he got photos, messages. You did this. Melissa's gaze didn't waver. Did what, exactly? You ruined me. No, Ashley, Melissa said calmly. You ruined yourself. There was a silence. Then, softly, Melissa added, this is just the beginning. She ended the call and turned back to Jason. Pack your things. The divorce papers will be at your office tomorrow. That weekend, Melissa invited her parents for dinner. I want to reconcile, she said smoothly over the phone. Let's have dinner here, Sunday evening. Her father sounded relieved. That's wonderful, sweetheart. Melissa hung up and smiled faintly. The final act was about to begin. Sunday evening. Her house glowed with soft candlelight. French cuisine was elegantly plated. Wine glasses shimmered, and the air smelled of rosemary and lemon. In the living room, a projector waited silently. Her parents arrived first, nervous, trying to appear composed. Ashley came next, pale and red-eyed. Finally, Jason walked in, visibly defeated. Everyone's here, Melissa said, her tone calm but commanding. Let's begin. She dimmed the lights and pressed a button on the remote. The screen lowered. Photos appeared, smiling family moments, vacations, holidays, celebrations. Beautiful memories, Melissa said softly. Now, let's see reality. The next slides showed Jason and Ashley, laughing in swimwear on the beach, holding hands, dining by candlelight, then photos of her parents beside them at the same resort. Her father's face turned white. "Melissa, what is this?" Melissa's voice was calm, deliberate. "While I was lying in a hospital bed, you all were here, enjoying luxury with my money. My husband betrayed me, my sister helped him, and my parents approved it." No one spoke. The silence was heavy, suffocating. Melissa stood before them, no longer broken, no longer pleading. "Tonight, you will all remember this moment," she said softly, "because it's the night you lost me forever." 1 year later, atop a gleaming San Francisco skyscraper, the new Melissa Brady Interior Design Headquarters hosted its grand opening. The city glittered below, and the evening air buzzed with music, laughter, and congratulations. Melissa, elegant in a deep emerald dress, raised a champagne glass. She moved with calm grace, every inch the woman she had become, independent, untouchable, and free. Rachel appeared beside her, smiling. "Look at you, you did it. I couldn't have done it without you," Melissa said, smiling genuinely this time. They stepped onto the balcony. The wind was cool, carrying the scent of the ocean. Below them, San Francisco shimmered like a promise. "Any word from them?" Rachel asked. Melissa shook her head. "No. Jason's in Seattle. Ashley lost her following and her sponsors. My parents tried to reconcile, but I refused. I want them all to live with what they did." Rachel nodded quietly. "You deserve peace." Melissa glanced toward the crowd, where Michael Green, her new partner, was speaking with colleagues, his smile warm and genuine. Rachel grinned. "He seems nice." Melissa's lips curved slightly. "He is. He respects me for who I am." "Any regrets?" Rachel asked softly. Melissa turned toward the city lights, her eyes reflecting them like stars. "Not for a single moment. I learned that family isn't about blood, it's about loyalty, and that sometimes, losing everything means finally finding yourself." Rachel raised her glass. "To a new life." Melissa clinked her glass gently. "To freedom." As she returned inside, applause rose. Her name echoed through the hall as she stepped up to the podium. She smiled, her voice clear and strong. "Welcome," she said, "to new beginnings."